We have with us today Dr. Julius Saulo Nelson Jr., President of the University of Liberia, as our key panelist. Along with him is Dr. Darren Wilkins, Vice President for ICT Affairs, Dr. Moses Zena, Vice President for Academic Affairs, and also joining us sometime later during the day will be Anthony Norris-Twe, who is head of Vice President for UL Relations. We have a number of other guests that's joining us by Facebook, others live on Zoom. We'd like to welcome all of you here to the 7th edition of the African Educators Forum. It is a online platform geared at bringing educators on the continent of Africa and beyond to discussing critical issues that are consistently afflicting the educational sector across the continent. So today we have Dr. Nelson and his team to discuss with us the ongoing reform process taking place at the University of Liberia. Welcome, Dr. Nelson.
Thank you so much. We are happy to be with you.
Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Dr. Wilkins, and everyone else joining us on Facebook and here on Zoom. So for introductions, let's get the ball rolling. Tell us about you, Dr. Nelson. Firstly, let's congratulate you for your preferment as president of the University of Liberia.
Thank you.
Given your track record, we're sure that a lot can be looked forward to in terms of transformation at the university. And so one of the things we revealed to you even before we start this program is this forum as a means of telling the world what your plans are for the university and what strategies are in the works in moving or materializing those plans. So thank you again. You have 3 minutes to introduce yourself and your plans for the university.
Thank you very much, and happy that my colleagues are here with me. And to the listening audience, Brother Ward, Professor Zena, Dr. Wilkins, Anthony Tue, our officers and leaders of Mr. Howard of the Alumni Association, other officers, our partners, our friends, ladies and gentlemen. Let me greet you with the peace of God in the name of Shalom. And let me express on behalf of the UL administration, the faculty, staff, and students, our sympathy and condolences to the people of the United States, citizens and residents of the Georgia 5th District, for the passing of a civil rights icon, Congressman John Lewis. I study in Georgia. I know him very well, and I want to make sure that we express our condolences to the people of the 5th District in Georgia. May his soul rest in perfect peace. My brothers and sisters, as the 15th president of the University of Liberia, I want to extend our thanks and appreciation to you, George, for the invitation to participate as one of the panelists on this your platform, as we share with you what we are doing at the University of Liberia in transition, trying to achieve academic reforms instituted by my leadership team. Even in the midst of the COVID-19 epidemic, we want to thank God that we are able to find ourselves what we are. And we want to thank you for this platform as we move forward. First and foremost, let me share with the listening audience that the foundation or theoretical underpinnings of our vision for the university are grounded in the mission, the vision, and core values of the University of Liberia, while I serve as president now with these wonderful colleagues of mine. For the past few years, the university has been breaching frontiers in instituting reforms aimed at improving standards and strengthening the system to achieve academic excellence, be nationally equipped, productive, and internationally competitive as we move forward. Our vision and development reform agenda of the university has several pillars. One, encouraging curriculum review and development for enhancement of the life at the university. We are putting in place a curriculum review committee that will do a comprehensive review of all curricula across different disciplines at the university. That process will be to ensure that the curricula are benchmarked with our national priorities and also taking into consideration other universities in West Africa, in our sub-region, on the continent, and around the world. Secondly, we are identifying areas of national needs and creating academic programs to train the needed professionals, local professionals in Liberia, who will work with our international partners to ensure that we achieve that goal. Research usually drives innovation that will lead us to creative thinking outside of the box so that we can achieve the goals and objectives of the University of Liberia. Thirdly, we are continuing our faculty development initiative with huge emphasis on strengthening our areas of gap. Let me share with the listening audience that currently we have about 35 to 40 faculty colleagues who are in various universities studying for graduate and postgraduate degrees at the university. Even with that effort, there's still a gap, especially so in the areas of mathematics, English, engineering, mass communication, history, and physics. All of this, we are trying to ensure if we can fill those gaps, then we will brighten the light at the University of Liberia. The fourth thing we are thinking about is expanding our sources of revenue intake at the University of Liberia. I'm happy to share with you that between January and now, we have established the Lux Investment Cooperation that will lead us in the process of developing investment opportunities for resource mobilization at the University of Liberia. We believe that we need to identify realistic investment opportunities, analyze the costs for finding those investment activities, and solicit opportunities for funding to help us here at the university. For 4 to 5 years, majority of the resources at the university come from the government of Liberia. Our dependency on the government of Liberia is so huge, up to 85%. We are assuring with this new possibility to reduce our dependency on the government and find additional resources to move the university forward. Fifth, we want to establish a student mentorship program at the university that will encourage our recent graduate or student leaders to have hands-on experience working with other deans and administrators at the university. And then lastly, we are strengthening our contracts, grant, and partnership opportunities at the University of Liberia. Recently, just last week, I had the privilege of being among several vice chancellors and president of the university with the UN Secretariat, discussing how universities can then contribute to this sector in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Lastly, let me announce to you, my brothers and sisters, that the university is moving to the next level, and we are preparing ourselves on July 28th to start a special distance e-learning semester for our students at the university. With the COVID-19, we cannot have our students coming on campus, and therefore, after some research work, we are ready and able to move our students to e-learning beginning July 28th this particular year for our second semester of academic 2019-2020 that we need to claim before we can go to the new academic year. I will stop there for that introduction and say that we look forward to all of you who are listening. We need your assistance, we need your support, moral, technical, financial support, so that all of us can move the university forward. We know very well that Mr. Howard and the alumni community have been working along with us. We want to encourage most of you who were students or even graduates of the university to join us in this partnership as we move forward. to develop a renowned university, the best 20 in 7 years as we go forward in the future. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nelson. Thank you so much. There a lot of food to chew on. We'd like to go to Dr. Wilkins, then Dr. Zena. Thank you so much, Dr. Nelson.
Okay, I'm Dr. Darren Wilkins. I am the CIO and Vice President for ICT. Basically, we're here to lead the digital transformation at the university, making every effort to catapult the university from 19th century education, 19th century education environment to a 21st century education environment. In recent times, I'm sure you've heard, we've done a lot of, engaged in a lot of activities, but I guess along the way we'll discuss that. So I'll let Dr. Zena.
Dr. Zena?
Dr. Zena?
Dr. Zena? Dr. Zena, can you hear us? Anthony Twain.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Could you introduce yourself?
How are you? Good afternoon from here.
We're happy to have you on. Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Anthony Norris Twain. Let me actually take this. My name is Anthony Norris Twain. I'm very pleased to be on this call.
Can you hear me?
Hold on. Anthony Twain, we have Dr. Zena interfacing with you as well. So, Dr. Zena, can you hear us?
I think he has a bad connection.
Yeah. So, Anthony Twain, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, it's always a pleasure to talk about the University of Liberia and the transition that the university is on, thanks to the passionate leadership of the current president of the University of Liberia, who has pretty much continued this trajectory that was started by his predecessor, Dr. Ophelia Annis Weeks, and even before Weeks, Dr. Dennis. What is very satisfying, colleagues, is that the current president is the 15th president of the University of Liberia, and he has been with the university for a long, long time. So he understands the genesis of the current transition. He was part of it, representing pretty much at the time we had about 18,000 students. And his advocacy often was about students. So history is very interesting now that he is president of the University of Liberia and is presiding over the institution at the time. We are talking about digital migration, automation, and then most recently e-learning. There can be no better person at this stage, at the helm of the university, to deliver on all of the promises that and benefits that come with e-learning. So that transition, we are at the stage in a transition where we believe is going to catapult the university to another pedestal. There are challenges associated with this. Otherwise, we would have done it ever since. It is not easy. It's cost intensive and prohibitive. So far, we've gotten good support from the government. Not all good support. The prospects are there for more support. But we're not even depending on the government alone to support the sustainability and survivability of this e-learning. The president, Dr. Nelson, is also leading a team that is looking outside traditional government funding. We have an extensive outreach to members of the alumni community, very important stake of the university, that we don't believe we have fully engaged. And so going forward under Dr. Nelson's leadership, we have a plan to engage more vociferously and actively members of the alumni community. Certainly this is where many of you come in. Also, the president is leading the effort to talk to donors, people who have supported the university. And one of the ways he has said that he's going to do this is strengthen the university research arm so that grants can be written for by university faculty members. That is why the university over the last several years has built the academic profile of faculty members. I can tell you, Dr. Nelson will tell you, all of us who've been associated with the university at least 5 years will tell you that 10 years ago, the academic profile of the university in terms of people who have terminal degrees has always been an embarrassing spectacle. So we have built academic profile of our faculty right now, as I speak, under the leadership of Dr. Nelson. We have over 38 students studying abroad. This is cost that's coming from the bare bone budget of the government, of the University of Liberia. Funds that we can get, in many ways. But the other point that the president has led this team to is to look at the university, not just only in terms of the provision of academics, but also as a university that will be independent. So we're looking strongly at other ventures, private sector ventures. The university has to generate resources on its own to complement or supplement some of the resources that are coming from the government and others. So, we have a plan. And I think with his leadership, we can deliver on some of the promises that this university was founded on, especially in the 21st century. So, we look forward to further engaging with you, stakeholders associated with the University of Liberia. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share.
You're very welcome, Norris. Thank you so much. We have Dr. Zina is back. Dr. Zina, can you get us right now? Because a lot of the conversation will rest on academic issues. Dr. Zina? There's still a challenge in there. Hopefully we get him soon. But let's go back to Dr. Nelson. So again, thanks everybody for being on board with us. Let's keep the ball rolling. Dr. Nelson has listed a number of initiatives aimed at moving the university forward. One of those things you talked about, and which is more immediate, is the institution of the e-learning process. We'd like to get a little bit of details, and that's a question for any one of you. Where is the university at this point in time? We hear that July 28th, the president just said it's going to kick off. How is it kicking off? What medium is being used? What is the current capacity issues that exist? Because remember, part of the reason why we're holding this conversation is to ensure that members of the Alumni Association are positioned to helping to fill that gap. So what are the current issues? What does the university learn? What has been learned so far in the process, and what gaps have evolved as a result of that learning, and what strategies are being made to fill those gaps? And that's a question for any of you on the panel.
Let me start, and then Norris and then Darren will come in. We had to close the school down in March because of the state of emergency announced by the Republic of Liberia because of the COVID-19. And from March up to that time, we were about to start our second semester for academic 2018-2019 and close everything down because of the COVID-19. We were invited by the National Commission on Higher Education with other leaders of universities in Liberia to say we are not sure when COVID-19 will end. How best can we find other ways and means to engage our students so that teaching and learning can take place? It was at that point we set up a committee headed by Dr. Wickens and Dr. Sinan to explore other ways and means for the University of Liberia to carry on teaching and learning. We had several options to open a university, or to do a blended situation, or do nothing and wait until we come to the end of COVID-19. In all our discussions, we made a decision that doing nothing was not an option for us. However, during a better situation, our student enrollment of 18,000, if we attempt to bring them on campus, we will run into several trouble with social distancing and all that we have to do to observe the health protocol. And therefore, we resolved that we will attempt the e-learning option 100%. And the team put together a plan, a strategy, and a strategic plan, mobilizing the appropriate resources for to move the university into teaching and learning for the special e-learning semester. It was at that point Dr. Zena and Dr. Wakins, who are the professionals in the area of academic and ICT, work with a wonderful team that have done the necessary homework, prepared our instructors to move them from the BBC, born before the computer, to living with the computer and COVID-19 to just ensure that the flagship University of Liberia will find other ways and means to engage our students in teaching and learning. And that's where we are now, preparing now to start classes on the 28th. We started registration on the 13th of July on Monday. For the first time in the history of the university, in the first 4 days of the university, we registered more than 7,600 students. That have never happened before at the university. Every 2 weeks of university registration, we are struggling to get to 1,000. For this special semester, in the first 4 days, 7,600. Dr. Wickens, or Norris, or Zena, he can add to that point.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go right ahead. Dr. Zena?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm having some connectivity. I'm having some connectivity challenges here in Duazon. Sorry, I apologize for that.
No problem. So yeah, the question was, first, could you introduce yourself, Dr. Zena?
It sounds like he's frozen again. Oh, he's back.
But it's good to join you in this
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
conversation. I've made a couple of important points. I caught the first few minutes of the president's remarks. It's good to be on this panel. Just that honestly, our aim here is to ensure that we reinforce implementation of demand-driven programs that the market desires for our students to be, when they graduate, to be employed or to be self-employed. So those are the emphasis we're trying to push here, including ICT, architecture, which we don't have in this country, and most of the architects are getting old, with the help of the Liberia Institute of Architects, environmental science programs, climate change issues, and of course, the president has mentioned areas where we have gaps in terms of professors in English, in physics, in mathematics, or of course, in brief, the STEM courses, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And also, we try to also see how best we can enhance research. One of the weaknesses we have compared to the other universities is that our research is relatively weak. And this is one area that the president, working with us, we are trying to see how best we can engage with faculty to be able to develop proposals, to be able to engage in doing research on issues that our country desires. And of course, going through the Institute of Policy Studies and Research, which we're trying to now strengthen, I think we can achieve that goal.
Dr. Wilkins?
Okay, so let me talk about a little bit about what we're doing. You know, somebody was asking Attorney Toy, I'm sure you'll bring that up. Monday, actually it was Tuesday, I think a journalist came on campus, and he said he came to see how the registration was going. But he didn't see anybody, so he figured nothing was going on. Maybe we had changed our minds, who wasn't going to open. But Tony Tuat told him, we've already registered 4,000 people. It was Tuesday, that was the second day. And then he's like, how is that? Nobody's on campus. Then Tony Tuat said, well, we're doing it online, it's digital. They don't have to come on campus. So I'm sure, George, you can remember back in the day, registration, you know how it was. You know, the lines, the fighting, the control sheet and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm sure you remember. Dr. Baba remembers, I'm sure. Terrence, they all remember. It's different now. Okay, students, the 7,000, almost 8,000 students that Dr. Nelson mentioned, they all registered from home. So the university is a little different now. Okay, and that was to tell you that we've done a lot of work to be where we are. Around April, the whole world, a billion students got out of school because of this whole COVID crisis. And Dr. Nelson gave the cabinet, he gave us 3 options. We could go online, full online. We could have a hybrid environment, which during the, if you take into consideration the new normal of social distancing, it's not even possible. Or we could do nothing, sit home and do nothing. Obviously, doing nothing wasn't an option, so we decided to go full online. And we selected an e-learning platform that is universally, globally used, which is the Moodle e-learning platform, because of the cost involved. It's open source, it's free and open source, and we had about 9 weeks of training on both online, because we're going online. The teaching and learning environment is going to be online, so we just decided to do the training online. We did a few weeks of Zoom training and face-to-face training, of course, taking into consideration the health protocols. And so we were later on assessed, evaluated by the National Commission on Higher Education, and received the approval to provide full online program. So we took into consideration the economic situation in the country. Things are hard. And to run an online program, you need the bare minimum. You need internet access, you need computing devices, you need electricity. These are what we call the bare minimum. Took those into consideration. We engaged the GSM companies, which is the telcos, as we call them on our side, provide affordable internet access for our students and affordable computing devices, which we've already, I mean, we were in discussion, finalizing discussions with them. We also have set up, created, moved towards institutional emails for our students, so they don't use the personal emails, because the learning management system requires institutional emails. So a lot has changed, and we've been in collaboration with eLibrary for our eLibrary system. So there's a lot of things that have changed. Recently, we spoke with Georgia Tech University, university folks and the Consulate General in Atlanta. During those discussions, we talked about providing a lab environment for online learning. And so LabStar is one of those companies in the US that we've been talking to, see if they can provide us with, because one of the major issues or concerns have been, what do we do about those classes that require labs? And so we're exploring those options. That it's a new initiative. We expect some challenges, we know, but we chose the asynchronous asynchronous online learning format. That way it's a little bit, it takes into consideration data or internet access, and yes, exactly. So we chose that option, and we tell the students that it's pretty much like Facebook, because all the functionalities, everything you do on Facebook is what you do in a learning environment. You post, you chat, you upload photos, assignments, documents, you download, it's pretty much the same thing. And since we have
in terms of, not to cut you off, but in terms of the asynchronous approach, Dr. Zina, are we using the modular form of instruction, or continue to use the traditional topic by topic, chapter by chapter? What's the approach for the upcoming semester? Dr. Zina? He's on. Yeah, anybody?
I'm sorry, what was the question again, George?
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah.
Are we using the modular form of instructional approach, or is it the more topical, traditional, chapter by chapter approach that has always been used at the university? Since we are moving towards a more asynchronous methodology, where that utilizes a whole project-based approach to learning, is that the approach, or are we continuing with the traditional?
No, we're not continuing. We're not continuing with the traditional. In fact, Moodle has several activities. Okay, but so no. To answer your question, it's a no. We're not going with the traditional format in the new one.
Okay.
I think Dr. Zina was muted. That's why we couldn't hear him. I think he's unmuted now.
Dr. Zina?
No, I'm saying, yes. Yeah, I'm saying it will be a combination. We know that even for our faculty, as we start this journey, they will need to transition. So it will be a combination of modular as well as ensuring that we help them to transition without really getting them frustrated. So we're encouraging them to do like PowerPoints so that at least they can engage the students to be able to understand, even though they will not have face-to-face often, but they can follow with some appetite to continue to read, to follow step by step, so that as we learn, we start to have a combination of methods to be able to get them to appreciate the learning environment. Of course, we know that it's going to be challenging because the emphasis here really is from teaching to enable the student to begin to learn on their own, self-directed, with minimum help from the professors.
That's good. So what are the gaps? What are the current gaps in terms of instruction, in terms of instructional capacity, academic resources? What are the current gaps going towards July 18th? What gaps?
Well, before Dr. Zina comes in, let me talk about the current gap in terms of what we're hearing.
Yeah.
And then he would talk about the academics gaps. The major constraint many of the students now are concerned about is the lack of gadgets. Delivering online content requires, as you all know, minimum electronic devices such as laptops, tablets, and smartphones. The majority of our students are not financially capable of acquiring these devices, especially at this very difficult time. And so one of the goals is we're working with these GSM companies operating in this country. They also, in addition to providing data packages, they sell these gadgets. And so we're working, hoping that we get a better discount deal for our students to be able to purchase. But beyond that, this is where we need to reach out to partners locally and internationally. We are discussing right now as a university to see whether we can even get specially customized made laptops for very affordable, cost below $100 US. I mean, the gap is a huge gap. Without these devices, it will be very difficult for these students to find pleasure and entertain themselves and love this experience. So we're counting on donors, we're counting on others, in this country and outside to reach out. There are NGOs, there are organizations in the US, for instance, that, are in the business of donating, making specialized basic laptops to enhance learning at the university or elsewhere. So that's one gap that we are really worried about. It may not be now, but in the near future, students will give us a sense of the challenge they're having. So Dr. Gina can certainly talk about the other gaps in terms of the faculty.
Dr. Zena? Dr. Zena? So we've heard that while we wait for Dr. Zena, we've heard the need for.
In terms of the faculty.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
In terms of the faculty, the gadgets also is a gap, but that gap is being. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
No, I'm saying in terms of the faculty, the gap, the gadgets, computer is also a gap, but the university is addressing that gap in terms of the faculty. We are making computers.
All right, sir. Maybe in addition to what Dr. Zena is trying to say is that
faculty on a pay basis. I mean, we provide them a computer, and they can pay over a 12 to 15-month period, so that will be taken care of. The other gap really is to be our own capacity.
So, in that regard, how is the university, or what structures are being put in place to ensure that the university is learning from itself? You have entrance exams. How is the university learning from itself in terms of what the environment looks like and how to help the university move forward? Are there any structures? Are there any programs to ensure that learning management is a focus of the university? So we're learning from what we're doing and using the learning to propel the university to those goals that we have envisioned.
Of our faculty on the computer, and it can be all the gap really is to be the challenge here, the breaking I cannot hear.
Thank you, Dr. Zena. Can we get a response to the question? How is the university learning from itself in terms of moving forward, learning from?
I cannot hear you. I can't hear you from this end. It's breaking in.
Am I breaking in?
Dr. Zena needs to turn off the video.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so let's go back to the question. Is there any structure, Dr. Nelson, is there any structure of programs to be put in place or already in place to help the university learn from its own activities in terms of helping to inform how it moves forward?
Yes, in the chat room, Dara was just sharing 3 programs that are being put in place to continue the process in helping our faculty and our students. There's a CLEP program, computer literacy for our faculty and staff, a program that will involve students helping each other to advance technology. But those programs have been developed by the ICT department unit. And between now and the beginning of the new school year, we are putting in place a bachelor's degree program into computer science and information technology as a major platform that will ensure as we go to the future, there will be human capacity development to continue this exercise. We also decided as we prepare for the new school year, with all the investment we are putting into the e-learning process, when we start the new academic year, we will have both the e-learning and the traditional face-to-face as we go to the future. And therefore, at the university, we have the option of those students who want to use the distance learning or e-learning platform or do the traditional face-to-face after we are all able to pass by COVID-19.
Are you also, as a way of propelling the process, ensuring that in every course that is offered at the university, an aspect of the e-learning process is infused in the system so that across the broader spectrum of the instructional landscape at the university, every student has a level of exposure to the e-learning process?
As of the 2020-2021 academic year, that's what we will do. But for this special e-learning semester, the focus will only be 100% e-learning. But for the new school year, the infrastructure will be in place and will enable the university to do both the distant or e-learning platform and the traditional face-to-face learning.
Okay, so let's move quickly to an aspect of an article that was written recently by this facilitator, which talked about the university being positioned in the social economic relevancy. That is serving, and you made mention of some of the issues, serving a community that's a part of and using that partnership to generate resources for the university. Intellectual entrepreneurship is the mode of operation for many universities around the world. You spoke to the idea of research being a pillar, fundamental pillar of granting the university the platform it needs to be able to reach out and attract resources back to the university. We see a number of international organizations, educational organizations, and research institutions coming into Liberia, attracting huge international funding, taking resources and data that we already have, that we are privy to, and taking that out along with the resources that they bring in. For example, let's look at the College of Education or Teachers College, for example. The University of Liberia entrance results are held every year. We hear nothing about how those results are used as a foundation for Teachers College, for example, reaching out to teachers across the country in terms of teacher training. Why is the Teachers College so silent in an age where education is at its lowest ebb in the country?
Let me jump in. Let me jump in because my office, Josh and Dr. Baba is responsible for publicizing and then disseminating the results of our national, of our university entrance and placement exam. And we try to do that in real time. But what we've done over the last 4 entrance exam periods is we've given the Ministry of Education all the results, the data, comprehensive data, the raw data, but we also give them the disaggregated data, okay, to inform, you know, their education policy relative to, you know, investing in resources in certain areas. One of the things we found over the last 2 years is that the number of students who pass from public schools on the UL entrance and placement exam have been dropping. Whereas it used to be impressive, no. That is very revealing. Church-based schools and other schools now account for significant passage, you know, in our exam compared to public schools. Private schools, the traditional private schools that we have in this country, the ones that you are familiar with, convent, cathedral, they are now competing with other schools, you know, that are not traditionally privately owned. So the whole demographic is different, you know, and we supplied the Ministry of Education with these reports. Recently, the Ministry of Education was able to source $40 million from the World Bank under their project Improving Secondary Results. And the University Teachers College was given $2 million and other other colleges that have the Department of Teachers College to upgrade their infrastructure, to upgrade, incentivizing potential teachers. So, our results are available online. We are more than willing to share with partners and others in the formulation, we believe in the formulation of education policies in this country. Those standardized results say something. They don't say everything that is wrong with our education system, but they're revealing. It has empirical evidence. So I just wanted to throw that in. Maybe Dr. Nelson, certainly has something to say with respect to that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
as he comes in, the question therefore is, how is the university using that information in terms of situating itself, in terms of service delivery, program development, and social outreach?
Well, one of the ways is that curriculum revision. Teachers College, for instance, is one college that has been able to revise its curriculum to reflect contemporary teaching and learning method. The pedagogical approach, that was delivered several years ago has been changed. We also sent a lot of, our former students and graduates for advanced degree. The current dean of the Teachers College holds a PhD from, holds a master's from Cape Coast, and then we sent her to University of Botswana where she got a PhD. And so we've invested substantially over the last several years to build the capacity of some of the people in Teachers College as well. In terms of what we're doing to use, we're looking at all kinds of ways, incentivizing people to enroll in Teachers College or in the liberal arts. A lot of the students over the last several years used to enroll in business college. When I joined the University of Liberia 6 years ago, I have to say 67% of our student population came from business college. Now that number has dropped. So Teachers College enrollment rate has increased in other areas. So there are a lot we're doing with it, but certainly we'll be looking for recommendations from you all in terms of how we can even make it better.
Great, great, great. Any further insights, Dr. Zena? It seems like he's frozen. Please send your questions in by text or chat in the UL chat room. We will continue with our engagement with the UL administration. Let's quickly move to the issue of academic freedom. We started this conversation with Dr. Nelson earlier, that in the face of all of these reforms taking place at the university and given the polarized social environment, how do we hope to manage or how do we facilitate academic freedom within our classrooms and within the activities at the University of Liberia? Dr. Nelson?
Academic freedom.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was saying that academic freedom is still practiced widely at the university for our students and faculty members. I was sharing with you earlier that in January, we lifted the ban on student political activities on campus. Our students are still engaging each other on ideas and seeing how best they can enjoy their freedom. Most of them are on in talk show, engaging in issues. So that space is still there at the university. We got no reason to close that space. It is for learning in the academy, for our students to engage in whatever we are teaching them at the university. And so we are continuing that spirit in the context of student to student, and now we are emphasizing as we go to the future for faculty members to be able to share with peer group in our research and development programs.
Great. So while we're at it, what specific programs because the whole idea of this forum is to build a bridge between the Alumni Association and the university in terms of meeting its goals. What specific programs or which functionary of your administration is specifically focused on setting up structures to harness the resources, human and material resources, in helping the university move forward in its plans come July 28th?
Thank you, George. I want to express gratitude to the chairman of the ULAB University Alumni Association Board, and Mr. Howard and his officers. I was privileged to meet with some of the officers last year in October, and we were happy when they came to Liberia for the centenary celebration. We believe there are several opportunities for the alumni community to engage the university. For example, we are talking about the distant or e-learning platform. Those of you in the United States who can help in different disciplines, you are welcome to join us. Send us your curricular vita. Dr. Zina and his team will see those of you that can help us in that direction. The Alumni Association has been working with us for the multi-purpose building that they have the program for in December, and that will be another partnership we are looking forward to. We have developed the Finland land development. How can we utilize 5,800 acres to build a university city? When we finish that particular document, we will share it with the members of the UN Alumni Association and see in which venture you can help us in that process. Thirdly, I believe the Alumni Association, our friends and our partners, can join us now in this process for resource mobilization to reduce our dependency on the government of Liberia. There are several opportunities for partnership and joint venture with the university as we explore different investment opportunities in our process to generate income for the University of Liberia. And I'm inviting members of the Alumni Association, other friends and partners that are gifted in several areas to come and join us as we move to the future.
Wonderful. Wonderful. One of the concerns that has cropped up over the years has been, are we compromising quality for quantity? Is the university best positioned to service the number of students that they are currently as a way of, or would it be better to manage the numbers that you have? Anthony Twelve just talked about, I think, some 7,000 registered in 4 days, and the total university population is anywhere above 15,000. Is that a number that's reasonably manageable by the university? Or are we just accommodating the numbers that we have currently?
I'm sure the president is going to come in later on, but let me say that as a member of the university testing and evaluation committee, which is a statutory and standing committee at the university for the last several years, we have taken very serious, meticulous approach to our entrance and placement exam, because that's the main way students get matriculated at the university. There are very few exceptions in this regard, you know, one of which is that if you score A or earn Division 1 on the WIAC, you get automatic entry. We never got students in any significant number, and so we brought it down to Division 2. There were several years where many students didn't make Division 1 on the WIAC, so now it was Division 2 before we transitioned to WACs. But in terms of matriculation, several years we have had a zero sum matriculation policy. And so if we do graduate 2,500 students, we just bring about that number. And so our admission process takes into consideration our capacity. We are cognizant of the fact that we are not going to compromise the academic integrity of the institution just because we want to have students. Some of our buildings, as you know, were built several years ago, and the way they were built, not much can be done. But the future university city is Fender. Uh, so what we currently have, 20,000 or just around that number, we can provide the quality, the education without compromising quality. However, as you know, our budget often is cut. We don't seem to get all of the money from the government, and that can be a major challenge. And now we have a tuition-free policy. We're working with the government. As we speak now, the government just submitted the budget for 2020-2021. The university budget in the draft, we submitted it, and we are going to go to the members of the National Legislature to defend that budget. One of the things that alumni can do is in the House and Senate, University of Liberia alumni members are all there. So we'll also be counting on your involvement, your lobbying. Wherever you are, you can lobby. But we are aware of the fact that at some point we have to build more classrooms. We have to expand because we want to bring new programs. Dr. Nelson has, discussed with academic affairs to add new programs. We are not going to add new programs if we don't have to train faculty and staff. So we are all discussing these things, George.
Well, let me let you know that you already have one trained faculty on board. Dr. Joe Baba has just offered his services. And this is why the platform is for this purpose. He has just offered his services. So Dr. Zina, Dr. Baba will be contacting you. I will send his contacts. As you know, he's the head of Deputy Theater, but also an English teacher. And so he's more than ready to offer his services to the university. And more than sure that a good number of those listening today will be forwarding their resumes to the Vice President for Academic Affairs. However, we've talked to the President of the Alumni Association a lot more organized. We don't want people just sending, anyone can go ahead, but we want a channel through which the Alumni Association is seen and visible in the process. And so the head of the education department, I think is Dr. Early, and working with the president of the Alumni Association in the Americas, will be setting up a structure through which the Alumni Association can more directly contribute to your faculty collection. But in the meantime, Dr. Baba, would like to say many thanks for offering your services. I know through Dr. Wilkins, a couple of other panelists on this platform were also part of the training when it was launched a few weeks ago. And so we're happy about that. Okay, we have 2 more minutes, but for the sake of the university, we're going to add 5 more minutes. So let's go to our closing remarks, Dr. Nelson. Are there any final closing remarks, but also final thoughts you'd like to leave with us in terms of what we as members of the Alumni Association can do to assist the university?
Thank you, George, for this opportunity. As I share our appreciation with the leadership of the Alumni Association, Mr. Howard, Mr. Kangad, and their team, we want to open our arms. We can't do this alone. We need their partnership. We need their support. And we are looking forward to a continuous interaction with the Alumni Association, friends of the university, graduates who have experience in several disciplines. Contact us, Dr. Zina, myself, leaders of the university, and we'll be happy to see how we can encourage you to join us in this forward movement to move our university to the next level. As to begin the next academic year, the fact that we are planning to have a distance or e-learning option and a traditional option suggests that the opportunity will be there for those for some reason that you cannot leave the US to say be in partnership or be adjunct faculty members of the University of Liberia. Thank you so much for the work you do, and we look forward to a continuous partnership with you and all the other friends of the University of Liberia. The Black Girl Society, don't forget that. and we can all do this together to move our university forward.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nelson. Any final word from other panelists? Dr. Wilkins?
Well, yeah, thanks, George. It's been an honor being here, and I'm really glad that the Alumni Association has reached out. I too come from, I was a vice national chairman of the B.W. Harris Alumni Association in the USA, and I know when the Alumni Association gets involved, I know what happens. So we look forward to a lot, and I'm glad that this opportunity come forward. Thank you.
I will give a minute to the chairman of the board of the Alumni Association. The highest ranking member of the Alumni Association is here present. Mr. Kringer, you've heard from the president. You have to hold yourself accountable to the offer that has been given. We'll be looking forward to some timelines, some material programs to drive this process forward. We can't wait. July 28th is next week. So, any final word from your end?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving an opportunity. I'm not one of the panelists. I am honored to be given the opportunity to speak. I've reached out to Dr. Wilkins and asked for a needs analysis. You know, a lot of good things can be done, but you got to know what it has to be a merging of ideas and thinking. You know, what is it the university needs? What is it we have? How do we come together and then support each other? Because it's not, you know, like you said, right? It's not about everybody throwing their names and say, I want to teach, I want to teach, I want to help. There has to be an organized system. So what is it that the University Library needs specifically for e-learning? We know that there is a myriad of needs for the university. It never ends, right? But focus on e-learning. What is it that University Library needs? And once we can get that document, we can share with the board of directors and the executive committee, and we can then develop an organized response. And we can stay in contact. Like, okay, we want to participate in teaching. Where can we get training? I spoke with Dr. Emmett Dennis about a week ago, and I believe is Mrs. Seba, I think Wilkins, also spoke to her in the States here, and I was able to gather some information. So I think there are 3 people in the States who have been trained before. So some of us have, you know, I've been a teacher all my life. I've taught on different learning management systems. I'm not too familiar with Moodle, and it's something that I'm willing to offer my service also. But there has to be, what are the needs? You know, what are the resources we have here in terms of human capital, in terms of offerings of maybe gadgets, you know, like Anthony Tway had said. We might have some people who may be able to offer some pre-owned Chromebooks or laptops or used smartphones. You never really know, but it has to be organized. It can, you know, and so when we talk about it, right, we might be able to liaise with the librarian ambassador in the DC area that can develop a governmental response, so that when we get those documents and those resources, we can then ship it, you know, duty free and the university can take hold of it. So there's a lot of things that can be done, but we got to be clear. What are the needs? You know, we got to also, from the ULIBA's perspective, go into our database, see the human capital and broadcast, you know, the response that can be held. But, you know, I can be long-winded, right? I can see George, right, you know, winking, right, for me to stop talking. So, but I look forward to working and, you know, and moving this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being on board with us today. It has been informative. We look forward, hopefully, to have a follow-up conversation, Dr. Nelson, maybe in 6 months. We'd like to come back to hold your foot to the fire and say, you told us this, where are we? You know? But we're really, really grateful to have had you on this platform. We're grateful for your sharing with us, your programs. Liberia is our common patrimony, the University of Liberia, the citadel of learning in the country. And those of us, especially who've gone through those walls, have a sacred responsibility to help move it forward. So you will be hearing from us. and we will continue to be in touch. Thank you ever so much. Please enjoy your weekend further. Copy of this recording is going to be made available on our website. That's eddein.com. On the website also, you see other previous versions of this the forum, but we will circulate to our panelists a copy for their records. Thank you again, and do have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
And happy
Thank
26th.
you.
To you as well, to all of you as well.
Dr. Nelson, I just sent you a private message. Could you take a look at it before you get off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.